Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for coming along this afternoon. I'm sorry I can't be with you in person. I'm having to go to Seville, unfortunately, to represent CDP at the Global Water Summit. I'm delighted, however, that thanks to the wonders of modern technology, I can express my sincere gratitude to Abaris, MBI and Insight for the sterling work that they've done with this year's South African report. It does, I believe, contribute significantly to the ongoing dialogue around water scarcity and security within South Africa, and will, I hope, catalyse and inform the debate on action on corporate water stewardship. As you've no doubt already heard this afternoon, our work on water has never been more important. Accounting for and valuing the world's natural capital is fundamental to building economic stability, and the global economy will favour those organisations that take proactive approaches to water stewardship. Companies that transform the way they do business now and work to safeguard valuable water resources will both benefit from short-term and long-term cost savings, sustainable revenue generation, and obviously a more resilient future. Investor interest in water has grown significantly. The number of investor signatories to our water programme has almost quadrupled in the last 3 years. And this year, our water questionnaire was issued on behalf of 530 investors with over $57 trillion worth of assets. Our signatories engage with the data we provide them in a plethora of different ways. For some, a simple reflection on whether a company has disclosed or not is enough to trigger action, whereas others download and interrogate complete responses and use these during their engagement with companies. And collectively, through CDP, investors are calling for more comparable, actionable data that they can use to inform their investment decisions. And CDP is responding in a number of different ways. So as you know, CDP operates a transformative system. By issuing our questionnaire on behalf of the 530 investors, we're encouraging companies to take a journey of self-discovery. By asking what on the face of it appears to be relatively simple questions, such as, are you exposed to risk? It sparks a reaction within the corporations and encourages them to perhaps have conversations with people that they've never had before, or seek out data that they've never considered important before. They also go away and establish systems that will allow them to respond in a better way to us and take actions that will ultimately improve their performance on corporate water stewardship. And encouragingly, we're already seeing shifts in the maturity of organisations. A reflection on the response of the 2012 Global 500 responses indicates that companies are growing more mature in their responses to water challenges. This year, we saw a 20% increase in the proportion of respondents reporting exposure to water-related risks with the potential to have substantive business impacts compared to 2011. Now, I think that's not because the world is getting any more risky, but it does reflect the fact that companies are undertaking perhaps more robust and more extensive risk assessments. We also saw a 50% increase in the proportion of respondents engaging on water across their supply chain. Now, this was an area flagged up for concern in our 2011 report, and we were encouraged to see this improvement in response. And finally, there was an 18% increase in the proportion of respondents able to identify linkages or trade-offs between water and carbon emissions, indicating that companies are taking a much more holistic approach to their water stewardship activities. Disappointingly, however, the strategic response to these issues remains static. Water is still not receiving the strategic attention it so rightly deserves, and corporate efforts on target setting leaves a lot to be desired. We still have many corporations looking at water through a carbon lens, leading them to set targets and take actions based upon the efficiency of the water that they use. Now, as you all know, this is not good enough. A corporation can be a clean fish in a dirty pond, and failing to recognise this can have substantial implications for the risk exposure of that corporation. And again, in 2012, it became obvious that water is already halting business. More than half of Global 500 companies report having experienced substantial detrimental impacts from water. That's a 40% increase on 2011. There are many interesting examples, but one of which may be familiar to you is that of Exelon, the nuclear power company based in the US. The New Jersey nuclear power plant was subject to increasing regulation related to their water discharge. Exelon did the maths, realised that it would cost them $800 million to upgrade their plant to meet the new discharge requirements, so took the very difficult decision to close the plant down 10 years early. Encouragingly, however, more companies are recognising that water presents substantive opportunities for their business, both in terms of revenue generation through the sales of new goods and services, cost savings, and also opportunities to improve their brand value. So a couple of specific examples we have are BASF, reporting that the sales of water-related goods and services has the potential to generate them over $1 trillion by 2020. And Cisco, who work collaboratively across their supply chain, identified opportunities for savings which would net them $1 million a year. I think you'll agree these are opportunities that can't be sniffed at. 2013 promises to be an exciting year for CDP. As I've already stated, the investor interest in water could not be higher. This year we've issued our questionnaire to over 1,000 companies, and we've also added water to our supply chain programme and have a number of founding members, including Pfizer, Dell, L'Oreal and Unilever. This supply chain programme allows us to reach organisations that we perhaps wouldn't be able to reach through our investor-driven programme. So we're very excited about that. Significantly this year, we're revisiting our water questionnaire, considering changes that will not only make it easier for you to respond and provide information that will allow you to communicate your efforts in building resilience to global water crisis. We're also ensuring that it continues to capture the most important and the most relevant information that will assist investors in their investment decision-making processes. Quite excitingly, we're also developing the world's first scoring methodology in relation to water. We believe this is a major opportunity for us to really increase our impact and catalyse action amongst the world's largest organisation on corporate water stewardship. Further details of these initiatives can be found on our website, or you can drop me an email directly. So in closing, I'd like to take the opportunity once again to thank MBI, Ibaris and Insight for their efforts with this year's South African report. I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank those companies that have consistently responded to us year on year. It's not easy, and we really do appreciate the time and effort taken in ensuring that you're getting your responses in on time. CDP really only does remain influential in changing the way that the world does business, as long as you continue to respond to us. I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank those investors that are proactively encouraging their portfolio companies to take action on corporate water issues. This year's CDP South Africa Water Report is a call to action for all of those companies to treat water with the strategic attention it deserves, to consider the role you're playing in tackling water challenges, and to provide the leadership required to build a more resilient future for all. I look forward to continuing our efforts together over 2013 and beyond. Thank you.